Hello guys, this is Carlotta Studios. I'm back, and this is a very spur of the moment kind of video. I mean, just got back from a camping trip, and it was fun. It was fun, but I'm not here to talk about that. This video is pretty much a response video to one of Deadpoolzilla's most recent videos, and I tell you, it's like this guy was. It's like this video. It was pretty much a given that I was going to respond to it in some way, shape, or form. Because Deadpoolzilla recently talked about his Stormhawk ships. Yeah, how is that not going to get my attention? Because, I'm a humongous fan of Stormhawks, and I absolutely adore shipping. That's that combination is just made for a response video or something of the sorts. And the funny thing is, I don't know, I think it was yesterday, I actually just made a list of my Stormhawk ships. Yeah, I am not kidding. I made a list yesterday of the Stormhawk ships that I will ship, not including crossover ships. Yeah, and to think it was my brother who thought of it. Yeah, and then a day later, boom, this video appears. So I literally thought, shit, I'm gonna make a response video. So yeah, basically, I'm going to talk about my Stormhawks pairings, and it's probably gonna last for more than one video. I most likely will have to separate it into parts, because, boy, do I love to talk about my Stormhawks ships. Okay. Now, these ships are not really in any order of preference, and including the one crossover ship I have, including that one crossover ship, there's 11 ships. So, I just will get started with, yeah, and I'm also probably going to talk about some of the ships that I don't ship, or kind of maybe ship, just for the heck of it, because, I'm here talking, and, yeah. Okay, but let's get started with, the super mega obvious one, and that is Aerrow x Piper, which, if my ship fleet, if all my pairings were like a fleet, which I often like to think of them that way, Aerrow and Piper is the big cheese, the dreadnought, the flagship, the numero uno viso. It is basically the flagship of my fleet, of all my pairings, all, including live action, CGI, whatever. That is number one. Because, yeah, Aerrow Piper, it was so freaking obviously canon, it's not even funny. And those two, what can I say that isn't already overly obvious? Those two are meant for each other. It's just, it's such a beautiful relationship, and just the way they interact all the time, it's clear that the show writers love pointing it out to us. They're like, we're going to make this ship canon. We're going to make this ship canon. And here's a fact that maybe not all of you know about, but I picked this up thanks to my good friends on the internet, and some careful website searching, but apparently, when the makers of Stormhawks were planning Season 3, they were planning in episode 57 to write a moment where Aerrow and Piper are about to kiss, but Finn interrupts them. But still, it was going to happen! And you see now what we've been cheated out of. But yeah, Aerrow and Piper, totally meant for each other, and especially in Season 2. In Season 2, there were so many moments, some of the best Aerrow and Piper moments, most of the best Aerrow and Piper moments were in Season 2, especially in the last 3 episodes. Oh my gosh, the last 3 episodes were laying it on so thick, especially with, the binding coming in and all. And in the very last episode, when Aerrow says, darn it, no, memory, don't fail me now, when he says, if
we gotta go down, at least we're going down together.
Yeah, that's basically saying, I'm not gonna let you die. and if you die, I'll die too, and I love you. That's basically what he's saying. And it was so sweet and so romantic, and oh my god, it was beautiful. That moment remains probably my favorite moment throughout the show. So, yeah, if Aerrow and Piper got together, it would just be a dream come true. And I would love to have seen, what their relationship would have been like. Because, like, in cartoons and stuff, there's this tendency that the main couple will only get together like the last episode or so. That's when they finally become canon. But I think that it's probably time that they should change that, because we could see there could still be adventures and stuff while the couple is in a relationship. We could see what it's like when they're in a relationship. Now, of course, I suspect that Aerrow and Piper's relationship would be pretty harmonious. Yeah, they may have some fights, they may bicker about some stuff, typical coupley stuff, but yeah, just because a couple doesn't fight that much doesn't make them interesting. And yeah, it's just a crime that we were cheated out of Aerrow and Piper. I would just love for these two to get together. And of course, writing about them and thinking of scenarios for them is like second nature to me. But yeah, those two just the best relationship I can think of in Stormhawks. And in fact, it was Aerrow and Piper that got me into Stormhawks. Yeah, I've probably mentioned it maybe once or twice on either on DeviantArt or on YouTube, but for those of you who don't know, it was actually Aerrow and Piper that got me into Stormhawks. That's the thing. Pairings seem to be my entryway into most franchises and fandoms, and at least that's what it was like for Aerrow and Piper. And so technically, since Stormhawks was my gateway to writing a lot and discovering that I really like writing and want to be an author someday, you could say that Aerrow and Piper was the gateway to that. So yeah, I owe a lot to Aerrow and Piper, and that's why it's my favorite ship. Anyway, now I think I've talked about Aerrow and Piper enough for this video. So now moving on to another ship, well, two other ships that I have, Finn and Dove, and Finn and Perry. Yes, I ship Finn with two women. He is never gonna let me forget about it. I could just hear him cheering right now. But anyway, Finn and Dove, yes, another kind of obvious pairing, and it didn't show up that much. It only really showed up for like one episode, which is a shame because here's the thing with the Stormhawks side characters. I wish they'd show up for more than just one episode. I wish that they'd show up more often and we get to see more of their interactions with the Stormhawks. And, yeah, it's possible we'll probably never get that, unfortunately, unless it's in fanfiction. But yeah, Finn and Dove, it just looks kind of adorable as a ship. I can tell you how many scenarios I've imagined for those two. I mean, not as much as Aerrow and Piper, obviously, but with Finn and Dove, they seem like the kind of couple who, yeah, just a very fun couple, and if Finn marries Dove, he'd be that person who's like, sometimes I wonder why I married her, and he'd be saying like all those cynical things about marriage and stuff, but they still love each other, and I think that Dove, if they were in a relationship, I think that Dove would be the one wearing the pants. I mean, have you seen the way she knocked him out with just a hit of her pot in the episode where they met? I mean, just bam, one hit. I just think it would be so funny to see these two interact as a couple. I think it'd be so cute. I think that Dove would really manage to mature Finn because she seems like a mature person. So I think that she'd be able to tone him down, and she'd definitely humble him. And so we should thank her for that. But yeah, I do like Finn and Dove as a couple. I really wish that there was more interactions between the two. But yeah, moving on to Finn and Perry.